Hey guys, welcome to my video. I am your host, the J-Man, and today I want to do a quick interview, a quick review, actually not an interview, a review of an old retro comic book title, actually two comics. We're going all the way back to the relaunch of X-Men, 1991, X-Men Volume 2. I'm going to talk about issue 6 and issue 7 of X-Men. Okay, so like I said, going back to 1991, Marvel made this big effort to relaunch X-Men. They had X-Men, which was going from, it started in 1963 to 1975. That's when it stopped, and then they started printing. I think they started doing reprints of old issues and numbering it forward, which they shouldn't have done. But then in I think it was 1975, another writer came along and did Giant Size X-Men, which was a one-shot. I think it was a double-page issue, which introduced a new team, and it was like an international team that had Wolverine on it. That was the first time we saw Wolverine and the X-Men. I think it also had Nightcrawler from Germany. But anyways, that's 1975, and then that led to the continuing of the Uncanny X-Men. Now, the title started out as X-Men, but I think around 1980, I think that was when they started calling it The Uncanny. They put that in the title, so that stuck all the way, continuing all the way up until like 2010 issue number 540 or something like that, somewhere around there. I'm not too sure about the details, but anyway, so there was always the Uncanny X-Men, but then in 1991 they decided to do Volume 2 and just call it X-Men, and that became a specific title, specific book, featuring the Blue Team. So the Blue Team was basically led by Cyclops, and it featured Psylocke, Wolverine, Gambit, Rogue, Jubilee was a tag along. She wasn't really a member. Also Beast. So that's 6 right there. As opposed to in the Uncanny X-Men, Storm was the leader, and her team was Colossus, Iceman, Archangel, Bishop, and what else do we have there? Sometimes Forge. I might be missing someone, but anyway, so there you have. That was the layout back then. So we're talking about issue number 6 of X-Men. I'm going to show you the title. I mean, not the title, the cover. This is a reprint, by the way. Obviously, it's not the actual issue, but it is a reprint. Okay, so the name of this story, or this story arc, is Along Came Sabretooth, and it involves a story with Wolverine, Psylocke, and basically the main villain of the story is Omega Red. Okay, so this is very important to the continuity of the history of Wolverine. Talking about his past on Team X. It's part of the Weapon X project. He worked for the CIA, a covert operation under the leadership of was it Stryker, and like you probably know about this from the X-Men Origin Wolverine movie, but before that movie, it was written all the way back in 1991, talking about Wolverine's past, and this goes into flashbacks of Wolverine in that team, where this particular mission just involved him, Peter North, also known as Maverick, and Victor Creed, also known as Sabretooth. So they were a 3-man team, and their objective was to, they had 3 mission objectives. The first one was to recover the something called the carbonadium synthesizer. Okay, this instrument, this important tool. They had to recover that. Secondly, they needed to stop the let's see here, production of a super soldier, which was basically Omega Red. Omega Red was the Soviet Union super soldier. Okay, so they were trying to shut that down. And the third part of their mission was they needed to extract someone who was on the inside, giving them intel, giving them information about what's going on. So they were kind of like a double agent, and they needed to rescue this person, this female named Janet. So that was their three-part mission, and basically Victor Creed was the unofficial leader, and he was giving the orders, and he's kind of a brash guy, and he didn't want to rescue. He didn't really want to rescue Janet. He thought that complicated the mission too much, but Wolverine and Maverick were against that. So they split up into kind of like three individuals, but it was I think it was Wolverine's mission to rescue her. It was Maverick's mission to get the carbonium synthesizer, carbonadium synthesizer, and Victor's mission to stop the super soldier. Well, they got 2 out of 3. They rescued the girl, the lady, but unfortunately she didn't survive. And secondly, the synthesizer was apparently lost. Supposedly it was lost or destroyed. Okay, so basically Logan, Wolverine, and Victor Creed, Sabretooth, had a fallout where they had an argument, and Victor Creed took the liberty of killing the girl they were supposed to rescue because he felt like she was slowing them down. They had Omega Red hot on their tail. Yeah, so Logan was really pissed about that, and I think that's what led to Logan leaving the team, which that is completely opposing to what was revealed in the movie. Even though in the movie Wolverine left the team, but it wasn't really because of Victor, and it certainly wasn't because of that situation in particular. But anyway, the movie takes a lot of liberties. We're not going to get into that right now. But yeah, X-Men Volume 2, issue number 6. What we have going on here is basically there's this Japanese crime lord named Matsuda, and he is like the leader of a ninja clan known as the Hand. Spider-Man fans would recognize the Hand as the group responsible for the rebirth of Dr. Octopus. When Dr. Octopus died in the Clone Saga, it wasn't until 1997 when the Hand would resurrect Dr. Octopus. But anyway, so this guy Matsuda is the leader of the Hand, a group of ninjas. Also, if you know anything about Psylocke, she basically is a product of the Hand. She was raised as a ninja and trained as a ninja, and she got away from that. But her origin story is going to be based and rooted there. So Matsuda, who also has psychic abilities, a lot like Psylocke, basically I get the idea that he was her mentor, and so he still holds some control over her, and basically that's what happens. He has a psychic link with Psylocke where he's able to mentally control her, and also very notably, Psylocke and Wolverine share a psychic link. I'm not sure exactly why or how, but whatever's going on with Wolverine, kind of Psylocke is in tune to it, and vice versa. So basically in issue 5, what happened was Matsuda, along with some of his other hired help and colleagues, a bunch of bad guys, they employ Omega Red to capture Wolverine, and basically they are going to torture Wolverine for information. They want to know what happened to the carbonadium synthesizer. And so, when Wolverine tells them that I can't remember, I was a long time ago, they basically start what they do is they get Dr. Cornelius, who is involved in the adamantium transplant. They get Dr. Cornelius to probe Logan's mind to try and find out what happened to the carbonadium synthesizer, and they need that because they need to restore Omega Red to full vitality, to full strength. Basically, Omega Red is getting really old, and he's starting to decay, so they want to restore him to his strength. So in order to do that, they need the carbonadium synthesizer. In order to find it, they obviously need Wolverine. So they kidnap Wolverine in issue 5, and basically Wolverine gets into a conflict with Omega Red. They get in a fight, and Omega Red pretty much beats the crap out of Wolverine, beats him half to death. Wolverine loses like half of his blood supply and falls out of a 10-story building. Falls 10 stories and is unconscious. That's where Maverick finds him, I guess, and rescues him and takes him to this underground like facility. I'm not sure where. But yeah, he basically saves Logan and tries to get Logan back up and running. Injects him with adrenaline, and when he does that, that's when Logan has a flashback from his time, his mission in the CIA, where they first confronted Omega Red, and where Victor shot that lady. Also, they had to jump out of the building because I think the building was going to explode, so they had to jump all the way out the building, and they couldn't jump out the building with the hostage, or not the hostage, but the girl. So Victor decided to kill the girl, and Wolverine was pissed about that. And so when they jumped out the building, Wolverine went and said, "Oh, the synthesizer is either lost or destroyed." But really, he was lying because he was pissed off at Victor. That's basically what I estimated. I don't know why else he would lie about it. He could have been lying about it just so that certain people wouldn't get their hands on it, or he felt like maybe because they killed that woman, they don't deserve to have the synthesizer. So, anyways. So what's going on here? It's the start of issue number 6. Cyclops and Jubilee and Beast are trying to infiltrate the building and basically rescue Wolverine, find out who took Wolverine in the first place, and they get ambushed and assaulted by Omega Red, and they get taken to prison, basically. Prisoned. And Mitsuda keeps telling Omega Red to try and find Wolverine. So Mitsuda says, "Okay, I have hired someone who's especially good at tracking people, and he's going to be able to bring in Wolverine." Lo and behold, that person is Sabretooth, because Sabretooth, obviously his sense of smell and such, he would be able to find Logan. It'd be a very familiar scent, so he'd be good at tracking Logan. Also, Gambit, Rogue, and Psylocke are also trying to rescue Wolverine, and basically Mitsuda, is that his real name? I don't know, maybe I'm getting his name wrong here. Matsuo, I'm not sure what his name is, but I'll show you a picture of him. The guy who's basically the leader of the Hand, and Psylocke's mentor and in control of Omega Red. He kind of looks like Wolverine. I'm trying to find a picture of him to show you. Matsuo. Where is he? Find a good picture. There's not really any good pictures of him in here. Anyways, Matsuo uses his psychic control over Psylocke to have Psylocke turn on Gambit and Rogue. So Psylocke uses her psychic knife to paralyze Gambit and Rogue temporarily. And Gambit and Rogue get taken to prison with the rest of the X-Men. Meanwhile, Psylocke is still under his control, and Psylocke teams up with Sabretooth to try and find Wolverine. Meanwhile, Maverick is leading Wolverine down through the sewers, and he's basically taking Wolverine to the general, whoever that, I'm not sure who the general is, but Maverick is trying to do the same thing as Matsuo, but except that Maverick's intentions are good. So Maverick is trying to find the synthesizer, basically to keep the synthesizer out of the hands of evil. So yeah, anyway, that's basically the plot for issues 6 and 7. Without getting into too many spoilers, even though this is old, and you can read about it online, I just want to say that I thought this was a really good issue. Both issues were good, except for the distractions with Mojo World. The whole thing with Longshot and Dazzler and Mojo. That ties in later. Other than that, this is a really good story. Not a whole lot of action, but it's a great sort of backstory and origin piece for Wolverine. Essential Wolverine. Also very important, Psylocke. And just great artwork, great old school artwork. Look at this cover for issue 7. See there, half Omega Red, half Wolverine. Great artwork, here you go. Okay, let's talk about what I liked about this issue most of all. And that was pretty much the involvement of key characters. You have the X-Men Blue Team, Wolverine versus Sabretooth, which is always a great rivalry conflict. But you don't really get to see any good fighting between them. It teases it, but it doesn't show you. Psylocke, she's just fucking awesome. Psylocke is badass. She gets into it. She has a pretty cool moment where she turns things around. Psylocke kicks ass. Psylocke is awesome. One of my favorite X-Men. Probably one of the least popular because she wasn't involved in the TV show, and also she wasn't in any of the movies. She wasn't in. I don't think she was in the Pizza Hut promotions, the tie-ins with Pizza Hut at the time. So she also didn't have a action figure. So there you go. There's like 3 or 4 reasons why Psylocke wasn't very popular, but to comic readers she was. But to everyone else, like, what? Psylocke was really on the X-Men for that long? Yeah, she was a part of the X-Men for a really long time. She's like one of the most underrated characters in my opinion. And then you have, let's see here. Maverick, old school Maverick. Not a whole lot of resolution in this story arc, but I like it because it just has like all the X-Men working together towards the end. They really overcome things, and just really cool panels like this one, Wolverine. Right here. Yeah, man, stuff like this is what makes the characters so awesome. All good material from Wolverine movies and stuff like that. Originally comes from this book, and I mean this particular issue, and the next issues 6 and 7. Oh, and this panel too. Awesome panel. Love it. So, what's important about this story is that at the time, this is really revealing a lot from Wolverine's past, even though there's still a whole lot more to reveal. At the time, it was very informative, very cutting edge too. Like I said, essential Wolverine, maybe even essential Sabretooth too. Good stuff. It's classic X-Men. I love these stories from the early 90s, mid 90s. Really cool. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and give issue number 6 and issue number 7 a rating. For issue 6, I'm gonna say issue 6. I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. And issue 7, I'll give 8.5 out of 10. So anyways, thanks for watching my review of X-Men Volume 2, issues 6 and 7. I'll see you next time.